Good afternoon, YouTube. This is your man all the way, George Page, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, you gotta realize it. This is a short month. I don't know why they put Black History Month on one of the shortest months of the year, but it is what it is. And anyway, I'm working on some more uh, videos for some people in our community that need to be acknowledged. And and this gentleman right here, he needs the most knowledge. This guy, he's been in the game for over 30 years. He's been a rapper, an actor, entrepreneur. I mean, he's been pro-black. He's been everything. I mean, this is a legend. This is one Mr. Um, O'Shea Jackson Sr., better known as Ice Cube. And here's a funny story. I remember years ago, I used to watch a show called Comic View, and there was a comedian called Tommy Chung, and you can find it. You can find it on YouTube. And he was talking about Ice Cube, and saying, and like well, Ice Cube actually said, like, go to the store, get a candy boy, and then he probably said, like, Ice Cube, why you rap so damn slow? And Ice Cube said, I used to be retarded. I'm sorry, Cube. I hope you don't listen to this. I'm sorry. I shouldn't do it this way. Pick on retarded people. I know PC culture might cancel me. But anyway, I don't care. But anyway, Q's been in the game for a long time. And he's, he was part of one of the most revered, respected, well-known groups of hip-hop history. And that was NWA. And for people who don't know what it is, niggas with attitudes. And that simply it is. All right. So anyway, so let's get a story. So Cube was born in Baldwin Hills, South Central LA, and he grew up on Von Wyck Street in South Central. Now his mother Doris was a hospital clerk and custodian. His father Josie was a machinist, and he was a groundskeeper for the University of Central Los Angeles, or UCLA. Now Cube had an older brother and a half sister, but she was murdered when he was 12 years old. Now, when Cube was in ninth grade, he was challenged by a friend in a class one day, and he was writing a rap to defend the challenge. Now, the idea for his stage name came from when his older brother threatened to slam Cube's head into the freezer and pull him out like an ice cube. And since then, the name has stuck. Now, when Cube was around about 86, while Cube was attending William Howard Taft High School, he met, he was part of a trio, around 86, he was 16, he was part of a trio called the CIA, which was the Crew in Action. And he met then a gentleman by name of, you know, by name of Andre Young, as you better know as Dr. Dre. Now, Cuban CIA would form parties where they were, was hosted by Dre, and they helped him write Cabbage Patch, which was Dre's group's the Wrecking Crew's big song by then. Okay, now by saving uh, Dre moved to Arizona for a bit, and he enrolled in the Phoenix Institute of Technology. At the same time, CI released their first single called My Posse, which was produced by Dre. Also, Q did his own comic rendition of Run DMC's My Penis called My Penis. That's crazy. Now, by 88, Dre getting his diploma in architecture, the drafting, and he returned to LA. And during the time, he met Eric Wright, better known as Eazy-E. Now, Q, sold his first song to Izzy, which was making his own record label called Rufus Records. You remember that, In '89, the group from the group NWA, and Q was the group's lead rapper and ghostwriter. And the group's debut with their first album, Straight Outta Compton. Now, NWA's style music was gangster rap, which was talk about the life in the hood. And Cube was the only member of the group that was not from Compton. Now the big seat was that the big hit was the Boys in the Hood, which was debut album for, and it was a debut album. The next song Cube worked was for Easy E's debut album, um, Easy Does It, and it was a group hit. You know, some serious controversy, which was they had an anti-cop anthem called "Fuck the Police." Yes, fuck the police, and that was very a very not very nice song. I mean, people they I think that's when I think this was when back then you used to buy records, and now I think in the early '80s they put the little sticker on it now, so we can can't you can't buy it like you used to. Kids can't buy it; you had to be over 18. And "F the Police" was that song that police were very mad about it because they felt assaulted. But hey, it's called freedom of speech, and they didn't like them. Well, F them. Now by '89 there was issues with the group, and one issue came when Q was only paid $32,000 for his contract with the group. Q felt most of the problems stemmed from mismanagement, and he was very vocal about it. Q sued Jerry Hiller, you know, and Jerry Hiller was the manager for the group NWA, and he settled out of court. You know, and it was just between him and Jerry, and Jerry and Easy was so close and all that. You watch the movie Straight Outta Compton, you know. But anyway, Q felt he wasn't getting his fair share, so he was very vocal about that, and he sued Heller and settled out of court. Now he decided that it was time for him to go solo, so he made his debut album, America Most Wanted, and it was America with Maer triple K's. And he worked with the group, the same the production team that worked with Public Enemy, called the Bomb Squad. Now, by 1990, the album was seen as a controversial, and by most certain groups. Many felt it was very anti-Jew, Semitic, and offensive to women. But blacks, many feel like it was, it stood up for us. It supported the strength of black people. Now, the same year, Q signed his first rapper by the name of Yolanda Whitaker, or better known as Yo-Yo. And remember Yo-Yo? Oh, yeah, Yo-Yo. I used to love Yo-Yo. She was so pretty. Those pretty eyes and the hair. Oh my God. If you guys are over 40, y'all remember Yo-Yo. Okay. Anyway, he produced her first album, make way by for the Motherlode, and with the hit "You Can't Play with My Yo-Yo." Yeah, I used to remember, don't play me out. Don't try to play me out. Yeah. Now Cube next was Cube's next follow up was "To Kill at Will," and it was certified platinum. The next year, Cube was out with a second album, "Death Certificate," and the album was considered more controversial than the first. Now, it focused more on anti-white, Semitic, and misogynist content. The album made two sides. One was the death side, the other was the life side. And in '91, NWA made a diss album, and it was called "No Vaseline." Ouch. Ooh, yeah. It's a yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, you what not tonight? Yeah, okay. Anyway, and besides making comments about former manager Jerry Hiller, he also made a remake about Eazy-E. In '91, Cube also made his acting debut in the urban drama Boys in the Hood. And that was a great movie. I love that movie. If you see that movie, it's great. It can make you mad and cry at the same time, that movie. And some parts can make you laugh also, too. Especially that part, Ricky! Ricky! Everybody, if you went to that movie, I know people saying they went to that movie theater, saw that part where Ricky did cried. That man cried. Anyway, it was the directorial debut of young director John Singleton. And Singleton was just 24 years old, and we cast Cube in the movie as Doughboy, a local gang member in South Central LA. The movie also was released on July of '91, and a lot of critics, got a lot of critical acclaim. In '92, Q put out his third album, The Predator, on November. Now the album was around uh, was created around the time of the L.A. riot, the Rodney King riots, or the L.A. riots, whichever you want to call it. As you know, if you remember, that was the riots was where really police brutality really got attention when the first person recorded a black man being attacked. And people forget there was two men who were attacked that night. Rodney King and his passenger. The passenger was on the other side of the car, couldn't see it, but Rodney was the one who people saw. And we know Rodney passed away a few years ago, rest in peace. But and this was what gave attention to it. And it was Q's first album to debut at number one on both the R&B, hip hop, and pop charts. And that's something special. You gotta think about it. You debuted on the R&B. No. The one thing it was one thing with the R&B and the hip hop charts. Okay, but the pop charts. So you got to think about it. Pop. Who was popular back then? I'll give you the four names: Michael Jackson, Prince, Madonna, Whitney Houston. That means Cube beat the top four artists back then. That was Michael, Prince, Whitney, and Madonna. This guy who's a rapper from South Central beat out four of the most well-known artists of that era. That's amazing. That's great. Now, for number came two of the singles. Was this "The Day Is a Good Day" and "Check Yourself." Check yourself before you wreck yourself. And everybody knows "The Day Is a Good Day." And I think there's one also song called "Tadao." How You Like Me Now, the one you like, he lived next door to Prince. Yeah. Now, both songs having two-part videos. Now, if you remember, "Today Good Day" had the part where how you like me now, where he went to prison, and he talked about I said again, he talked about when he lived next door to Prince, you know, and they both like I said, they were both even with his success. Cube's audience was starting to get smaller. And that's what it is. When you get too pop, meaning that this is how it is. When white people start liking you, the black people start not liking you less. That's how it is. It happens quite often it happened to Hammer. When Hammer was getting more successful among black people, his audience among the blacks was getting smaller because their audience among the whites were getting bigger. It just happens like that. By '93, his next album, Lethal Injection, was his fourth album. And at the time, Q was borrowed from the G-Funk sound which was made popular by Dr. Dre, by his Chronic album. The album came out in '92, and also the same used by Dr. Dre's stepbrother Warren G and Snoop Dogg. The album didn't do as well, and many critics felt Q lost a lot of his fans. Because he lost, because like I said, he was getting a little bit too pop, and that's what happens when when you set out as a gangster rapper. It happens to a lot of rappers. When you get to a point where you get you start off as this hardcore gangster rapper, but you get kind of like pop and, sweet. When you have like teenage white girls like, yeah, it's Cube. And, you just lose your hood credit. It just happens. That's the fact of life. Now, by the time his artists get smarter, and Cube started in a small budget movie called Trespass. Now, it's a movie that was starred actors Bill Paxton and William Sandler, and it was about two firemen on the treasure hunt in gang territory. Now, also the movie had Ice-T, who was another LA rapper and turned actor. And he was the gang leader in that movie. You remember, it was a little boy movie. Remember that part at the end where Ice Cube was like, "Hey, old man, where am I going?" That was stupid. Moved so long ago. Now, because of the failure of his fourth album, Cube started to focus more on his acting career. So he made a cameo in Chris Rock movie CB4, and which was hip hop comedy. And he played himself, and that was '93. Next year, he starred in a police drama called Glass Shield. Now, in Glass Shield, he played he played Teddy, who was a victim of a crime that he didn't commit. By '95, he did two films. The first was Higher Learning, where he played, which was the second movie he did with director John Singleton. Now, back in '93, Singleton offered him Q a part of Employee Justice as Lucky, but Q turned it down because he was focused on his music career, and the role went to Tupac. And later that year, Q produced, co-wrote, and starred in the movie Friday. Now we all know Friday is one of the greatest movies. It's one of the greatest franchises, and it was an urban comedy about a guy named Craig and his friend, weedhead friend Smokey. Stories surround how it was directed by Gary F. Gray, and it was a story about we had Chris Tucker, Neil Long, John Witherspoon, Tiny Zeus Lester, and Bernie Mac. And it was those casts was the movie really was it was about Craig and how he got fired. You all know the story, but anyway, it cost $3 million to make the movie, but the movie made 28 million worldwide, and that's pretty good. That was a big windfall. You got to think about it. And I remember the story how they said that everybody got paid $5,000. Chris Tucker was pissed off about how much they got paid. But think about it. Back then, Q had to pay for wardrobe, this, that, this. Everybody got paid $5,000. But Chris Tucker, I mean, I don't know. He just felt like he was a bigger star than that. But anyway, in '98, Cube did two more movies, flick set. One set in South Africa, called Dangerous Ground with Ving Rhames and Elizabeth Hurley. Also, the horror flick Anaconda with J-Lo. And, it was a pretty good movie. J-Lo and Robert Voight. No, John Voight. And, sorry. Also, in '98, Q released his long-awaited solo album, War and Peace, Volume 1. And that was the first one, was '98. It was the two. He also did two movies, which was everybody knows the first one was what was it? Was that more? Let's see, the debut. It was what was that movie he did? I'm trying to get everything together. I'm looking, it takes so much, let's see. He did. Wait a minute. Give me a minute, people. Oh yeah. '98 he did Players Club. As you know, that was the movie which was about which starred which was his director. He was a director. Also, he wrote the screenplay. Also he produced it. He was mostly all three big hits for the flick. And it was the acting debut of Lisa Ray as a single mother turned stripper named Diane. And the movie he also starred upcoming actors, comedian Jamie Foxx and Terrence Howard. And also it returns with some of his Friday castmates, Freeze on Love, Big Worm, AJ Johnson, Ezel, Bernie Mac, and Tiny Zeus Lester. He also starred in the same way, had a small appearance in Master P's movie, I Got the Hookup. You remember that movie? Yeah. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. Yeah. Now, by the end of the '90s, Q had two more movies, a box office satire based on the Gulf War called Three Kings, which starred George Clooney and Mark Wahlberg. And, it was the movie about refugees trying to get across out of Iraq from, after they stole gold from Saddam Hussein. And he also starred in the straight-to-home video movie by the New York rapper, with Fat Joe, which was called Thicker Than Blood. And it was a little small movie. They were half brothers, whatever. I saw it a long time ago. 2000, Q produced and wrote the sequel to Friday, next Friday. And this one, Chris Tucker wasn't out, so he was replaced by Mike Epps. And Cube, had the same of the cast of this movie, just about everybody with some additions here and there, like with Don D.C. Curry's uncle, um, I forgot his name, Uncle what's his face? I forgot, Uncle Willie, and some other characters, but pretty much that. But the same year he put out his sixth album, the second part of his album War and Peace, Volume 2, and where he with Dr. Dre, and we know his old former NWA members, Dr. Dre, MC Wim, and he also went on tour with them, Dre, Ren, Eminem, and Snoop, and it was the Up in Smoke tour. Knowing them, yeah, they were Up in Smoke, freaking Snoop. Now, at the same time, he was in the flick Ghosts of Mars, and it was a horror action flick. It starred Natasha Henstridge. You remember she was in the movie Species about the alien, you know. In 2002, he made three more movies, all about the Benjamins with Mike Epps, and then also Barbershop, you know, which was and also I forget. He was part of West Side Connection. Remember him, Mac 10, WC. They did an episode of the Jerry Fox show. That's been so long ago. I almost forgot those guys. But anyway, he also was in the movie Barbershop, and then there was the third movie, Friday After Next, where you had additions like Terry Crews. You had also Cat Williams. You just didn't have any long as Dana. She wasn't. You brought back Anne Emery Horsforth as his mother, but didn't have Neil Long as Dana. But anyway, and that was the third installment of the movie. Now, by 2004, he did three more movies. One was called Torque, which was he has a little low budget, crappy movie about biking, bike rival gangs. It wasn't that much. And then a movie called The N Word. I think it was more like a documentary, something like that. Then you had Barbershop 2, which was back in business, with return with Sergio Entertainer and everybody else. It was pretty good. I love Barbershop 2. It was a great movie. And then you had the another one of his economy vehicles, Are You There Yet? Which he has, Ice Cube has the most franchise. You got to think about it, up there, And then he also that year he did Beauty Shop, which was a spinoff to the Barbershop series. Also did a movie called Sierra Leone. I think it was a documentary called Sierra Leone Refugees All Stars, and also Triple X State of the Union, which was crappy. I don't know why they did that. I mean, I'm sorry. Cube was that was a bad casting. I mean, they could have got LL or somebody. I mean, if I know, understand that Vin Diesel wasn't going to play Xander anymore, but they could have got somebody outside of Cube. That just wasn't him. That wasn't his movie. And then he did the sequel to Are We Done Yet? To Are We There Yet? To Are We Done Yet? And, him and Neil Galan, who starred in with him in the first Friday movie, and Are We There Yet? Then he did his longer-rated sixth album, called Life Now, Cry Later, and it's people it's been years since he had an album, and I think there were some songs that Why We Thug and a couple of songs. He also premiered it at VH1's annual Hip Hop Honors, and it just wasn't that big of an album. There was some few songs on it, but it was all right. And then by 2007, he was just really most likely focused on his movie career. He did, say, Are We Done Yet? There was First Sunday 2008, Long Shots with Kiki Palmer. She played a little girl with Paul was the quarterback for the minor league team. 2009, Jakey Promoters, him and Mike Epps. That was like straight home video. I never really watched that one. Larry Tickwick with Bow Wow, Rampart. Then 21 Jump Street, which was the based on the old TV show. Him, um, Channing Tatum, and God, I forgot the boy's name. Why I hate to forget his name. You know, but you know who I'm talking about. What's his name? I know him. His name. I know his name. Oh yeah, Jonah Hill. Yeah, I can't forget it. And then also another cop sitcom, which is Ride Along with Kevin Hart. And that's another movie that's done sequel, Ride Along and 21 Jump Street. And then also there was another one called Then in 2015, his son Osei Jr. started to make his acting career in a movie in the biopic Straight Outta Compton, where he plays Q. And I tell you, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's you couldn't do no better than casting your own son as yourself. Now, O'Shea's a little bigger than his dad. He's a little light skinned, but he looks just enough like Cube to pass. You don't have to be perfect, but just enough. And that's what he made. And when I saw the movie, I said, "Who's that playing Cube?" And I said, "Well, that's Cube's son." What? That's Cube's son. That's perfect. That's That was perfect. When you get the actor, you do a movie about your. He was the producer of that movie. When you do a movie about your life story, your son plays you, and he looks just enough like you for it to work. It's a pretty good movie. But anyway, that 2016, Ride Along 2 came out, and then the third installment in the Barbershop movie was Barbershop, the Next Cut. And in 2017, there was the movie Fist Fight. But also the same year came out the Triple X3, The Return of Xander Cage, which I would say was the better Triple X sequel because they brought back Vin Diesel. But Ice Cube had a little cameo in it. I've seen the movie. It's all right. Wasn't as good as the first one, and but it was way better than the second one. That's the thing. When it's kind of like with Star Wars, people always say that Return of the Jedi was better than Empire Strikes Back. That's just a rule of it. Sometimes, usually, most times the last sequel is never better than the first or the second. But every now and then you get those ones when the last one is better than the second sequel. Never better than the first, but better than the second. That's rare. Anyway, he did quite a few other things, and also Cube had his hand on TV. He made some appearances on some TV shows such as the Bernie Mac Show. Also, there was a short-lived barbershop series, Sinbad Show, and he also was on ESPN 30 for 30. And there was a Friday animated series. But also there was back in 2010, there was a series called Are You There Yet? That was on or something, it was TBS. And the series starred Terry Crews playing his role from the original movie. And Q played the part of the brother to the Neil Long's character played by the chick from old girl who used to be on Smart Guy. You remember they dropped her off for that last season. They stopped showing her after a while. And that was something that says to me, how you're playing another character from the series where you played it for the movie. And to me, the series wasn't that good. That's why I think they canceled after a while. It wasn't that good. But Q's been a while constantly. Like one thing, he's a family man. He's a father of 4 kids. He's been married to his wife, Kim Woodruff, since 1992. And that's good. I mean, you've been with the same woman for a long time. She's been with you. She gave you 4 beautiful kids, 3 boys and a girl. And, she supports your career. She's seen the bad times, the worst times. And I know she probably seen you do things that she didn't want you to do, but you did them anyway. But, she stuck by you. That's a good thing, And a while ago, his boy, Dr. Dre, just got divorced. And he still got his wife. And that's a good thing. She probably, he probably loves her. And Cube is also in business, He has, he's partners in the what's the thing, it's a like 3 basketball team thing. They started back in 2017. The big three. And it's mostly just 3-on-3 basketball. And I think it used to be on TV. I think it used to show it on was it on I forget. I think it was on something. I think it was on Showtime, not Showtime, TNT or something. I forget. But it was very popular. I think it's still on. I don't really watch basketball like that, but it was very popular for a time. I think the season's been canceled because due to COVID. But there's a lot of it's just you know what it is. You follow it like if you're a basketball fan, especially somebody like my man Avery Hardy. He probably knows a lot better than I do. Like I say, I don't follow basketball like I used to. I'm kind of like I kind of wean off. But anyway, wasn't that long ago Q reached out to Donald Trump, who I'm not a fan of, trying to find a way to support reparations for Black people. He reached out to Joe Biden, but Joe Biden responded. He said, "Wait after the campaign and see what happens if you get elected." And people kind of were really hard on Cube about his choice. But Cube has always been about trying to raise the Black community. And there's that old saying. It's an old saying. Sometimes righteous people would shake hands of the devil to try to get things moving. And Donald Trump was the devil, and he still is. And you just recently, the second impeachment that he got out of, he Teflon Don. God, I can't stand that man. But anyway, Q had many honors such as VH1 honors, hip hop honors, BT honors. I mean, awards and trophies. You know, platinum albums, gold albums. I mean, best-selling movies. He's just been. This man has done a lot in his career, and especially coming from South Central LA, and coming up as a kid and just seeing things he's seen from controversy to be, and it's kind of think about it. The most controversial people in the world become the most successful people and the most kind of people seem more society friendly. And that's what Cuba has become. He came from this, wild kid to this, this really established man. So like I said, that's why I did a video about Cube, because I have respect for him. I love his music. I love his movies. I'm a fan of what he does and how he presents us in the Black community. So like I said, Cube, yay, yay. You should be on the Ray George page. Don't subscribe. I'm out.